Well, hey, how y'all doing out there today? Listen, where I've really been trying to steer away from talking about political issues, I can't help but notice that some of these political issues that are going on right in front of us, for example, this Michael Cohen Trump deal, or what's going on with any of our leadership in America, probably definitely since Bill Clinton. I can't help but talk about social things or problems in with our brotherhood, with our unity that aren't involved politically. So to stay away from politics sometimes is impossible. It's kind of like having to break the eggs to have the omelet, so to speak. And so I'm going to bring this point up with Cohen and Trump, hopefully to shed some light on our own issues socially and with our brotherhood and our unity, as I said. Now, what we see is a known liar, Michael Cohen, going in front of the House and probably lying and telling everything he bad that he could possibly say about Donald Trump. And where when I see it, all I see is snakes eating snakes, and that's all you're seeing. You're seeing snakes eating snakes, and this puppet show that just keeps going on in front of us, that keeps our attention, and this is just fueling all of that and making it worse, and we're making it more entertaining, that's for sure. But in the meantime, what I've noticed all along, like I said, since Bill Clinton, is that when issues, especially with who we are or what we do or how we perceive things, become politicized, become looked at one way or looked at the other way, and only in two ways. Uh, I see where this is, as we all know, the main part of our divide, the main reason why we don't get things done. We can point fingers, we can blame, we can make excuses, but we have stopped living our lives as we the people. We have stopped living and being who we are, and we're taking on more and more influence from the game, the lies, the real lie that's being perpetuated on us, that our country has been sold out, that we are very toxic, that there is a lot more money in sickness than there is in health. Uh, Even those issues that we used to talk about plainly and respectfully and with concern of a solution, we don't talk about anymore. The vaccinations of our children, the abortion issue, all these other issues that have come up have been politicized. And they basically come down to um, people following or not following, or people believing or not believing the words of one particular person. And in this case would be our leader. I saw this during the Obama years. I definitely saw it through the Bush years. I saw it in the beginning with the during the Clinton years. We we trust our leadership and we are on our side. We're a Democrat or we're a Republican, and we're going to stick with our party and our principles and our morals. And yet those constantly change and evolve with the leadership. Um, in Bill Clinton's day, basically made sex, oral sex, not a part of sex. He got caught doing something. He was in the public light for a very dishonorable event of having sex with another woman, and he's a married man and he's the leader and he did it in the Oval Office. Wow, I mean, we just nobody could believe this. But his excuse was that fellatio was not sex, and this went out into the we the people. The mindset changed. The right condemned it because they hate the left, and the left took it as word of God, and now that's not considered sex anymore. During the Bush years, it was the attack on September 11th and how we all viewed it, and we all went after an enemy. We all wanted to unite and take out the bad guy that had done this to our country, that had done this to a free nation, had killed our fellow citizens. But yet that even turned into a political event. It turned into fake wars. It was used to, they thought, to divide us, to put us in fear. They were going to really bring in fascism. The war for oil had peaked, and we were just taking it now. And they wanted us to see different lights. They wanted us to view world leaders and people that we had actually put in power as evil now, when at one point they had actually we had them as they were helping that country, and this was the best thing for them to have democracy and all these other things. But that was also a period of time, if y'all go back and think, where people were lying on each other, and there were all these House investigations and things were going on, as with the Clinton years, and everybody saw it different, and this person would testify, and you thought that was word of God or a liar or whatever. They made a fatal error with the 9/11 attacks, where they thought that we would run to our homes and live in fear and beg the government for defense. We, the people, united. A lot of the racial, cultural, class issues were starting to dissipate. We saw that we were all the same, that we could all be attacked, that all kinds of people were jumping from those buildings and were killed on that fateful day. They saw this unity in us. They saw this, that we, the people, were not as dumb and sheepish as they believed us to be, that we didn't live in the fear that they thought they had put us in, that we were not quite at the divide of a nation where they could take over with fascism, take over with rule of fist. Let's take the labels out. They could take over with power and fear. And we beat that. And that is where I get sad, because I saw this peak in our unity. I saw where we were looking at each other as brothers and allies, no matter who we were, black, white, yellow, red, it didn't matter, Christian, anything, it didn't matter, anything. They had gave us an enemy, we picked it. We were going to fight it together. We had united together. We had put all our differences aside to fight this enemy. And then as we found out the enemy was not the enemy we thought, and the enemy was our government, many of us didn't want to even believe that that was the truth. And many of us didn't want to see that we were fighting our very own government, that we were relying on to protect us from these people. And that's where the divide began again. That's when they also started, y'all. You really got to think about this. This is when they really started with the psyops, the conspiracy theory world divide. They were trying to divide conspiracy theorists. They were trying to divide people that would think about one issue, one important issue they didn't want us to figure out, and they would throw in other things. And that's where we lost our way big time here in the 2000s. That's where we lost very fragile but needed and wanted unity, that we just tossed our brotherhood aside for this thing called political opinions. They took truth and they managed to give you the truth, to show you the blatant truth, but with but with a political opinion. So now you've chosen a side, because not because of the truth itself, but because of how you viewed the truth or what a leader told you. Like I said, during the Clinton years, it was the sex scandal with Lewinsky. With Bush, it was 9/11, and you're either for us or against us. And with Obama, brought in a lot of racial things, because a lot of people, whether we want to believe it or not, and whether a lot of you want to believe it in yourself or not, were not prepared for at that time to have a black man, whether he had a slave heritage and was American, or no matter who he was, a black man, period. That was used also against us. And that was also at a peak time where what so-called Republicans would just swear up and down that no president had ever been elected, that they had all been selected, as FDR had told us. They leaned on morals. They leaned on the leader himself, more of what he'd done and not what he is doing. That was also a time period where we were protecting our environment, but it was a lull. It was a lull to get us ready for the sell out of America. This Trump comes in, and he comes in with a lot of baggage from a man that had lived a life, basically a playboy lifestyle as a billionaire, and was out in the wide open. He had been seen everywhere. But when it came to Trump, this also fueled the racial divide, as well as taking our eyes off of, they used what happened during the Obama years with the racial divide to fuel it even further. And they took out a black president, and they put in basically a proven by his own words and mouth and actions, a bigoted president. You know, whether you want to say he's racist or anything, I believe he's a racist, but I also believe he's a bigot. I just think he's better. He thinks he's better than other people, and he has that attitude. And as you see with this Cohen thing, you see the snakes eating the snakes, like I said earlier. You see internal division. You see people that are supposed to be on the same side fighting each other. Well, this is what I mean by emulating and following the leadership the lead of our leaders. Now, even in the Republican Party, you have each other fighting each other. In the Democratic Party, you have people fighting each other inside the parties, because you see this from the leadership. You're emulating it whether you like it or not. I see very well-educated and very articulate people out here that used to discuss politics in a manner of open debate, free speech. And they would say what they wanted, but they never resorted to third grade name calling. They never resorted to unfriending people and doing petty, trifling things out here. And yet they see their leader doing it. They see their leader, how he acts on social media. And you don't, and what I fondly call the trumpets, but the Trump supporters don't realize that once they were respected for what they said, and they were able to say it in very intelligent ways, have now resorted to this third grade mentality, the bullying, the name calling, the you're wrong and get out of my country, all this kind of crap. You're just being like what you see in your leader. So my point in bringing all this up, how each group has emulated their leader and the other group has hated it and opposed it. Look at where you are today. None of the people that I just mentioned that I would call Trump supporters nowadays, or trumpets or whatever, would ever condone some of the actions of this man, not what's being taught about him. So you have changed. Just like I saw the people that supported Obama would have never spoken the way they have to other people, never would have thought the things that they thought if it hadn't come from that leader. The same thing with Bush, the same thing with Clinton, the same thing with any of Reagan, Bush, Carter, Bush Senior, Carter, all of them before us. We seem to emulate our party, and we seem to emulate our leader, whether he's on our side or not on our side, in ways that are not who you are. Are you being you when you call somebody a libtard? Are you being you when you call somebody a right-wing nut job? Is that you? Is it even your issue or your problem or your fight? And here's the other thing. We have gone to arguing about and mudslinging and name-calling on such petty and trifling issues that we are not even paying attention to our own solar system, our own planet, our own connection to this planet, the fact that things around us and our lifestyle, the over-consuming lifestyle is still going on. We are still doing things ourselves, not our leaders, not the people that we're fussing about. No, us. We are still living in the same toxic, suicidal lifestyle, non-sustainable lifestyle that we have been doing all along. So I can't help but see that when somebody like Cohen gets out there and makes the news about lying on Trump, and everybody gets focused and all their energy goes into this one little story, this trifling, meaningless story, I can't help but see how we've been fooled. I can't see how we've been pulled away from the real important things. And most sadly, and most importantly to me, I can't help but see our brotherhood taking another step backwards. I can't help but seeing enemies being made of people that are allies. We were all different after September 11th, and we're all different now. But we had something to battle back then. We had a reason to be unified then. We had a reason to band together and stop evil in our country, in our lives. That reason is always there. Our planet is not going to be here much longer. We're not sustaining it. We are not taking care of our children. We are not even taking care of our lives. We are stuck in this mindset. We are believing the lies that we have to get by, that we have to struggle now, that we have to survive. No, life is not just about surviving. There's a part of life that is called living. And I just want you people to fucking live again. You're not living if you're arguing about stuff like this. You're not living if you're making enemies. It is not our nature to go make enemies. It is not our nature to look at another human being and see their physical being and judge them and instantly put them in a box. That is not who we are. That is not a part of being a human being. Being human means to accept everything around you until there is an issue, until that person proves with their actions who they really are. We go more on what people talk about today than what they're actually doing. More of us are out there defending people we feel are weaker or lesser than us when we have nothing to do with that. We're not even taking care of our own lives. We're not even living ourselves. We're finding other things to live for. Well, until you're living for yourself, you can't live for anybody else. Until you love yourself, you can't love anybody else. Until you quit hating, you can't ask others to quit hating around you. And until you allow another man to be free, you will never be free. And sometimes, and I fight the thought back because it's a bad thought, sometimes I think none of you really want to be free. You do want a leader and a side to take you in. You do want to be different and put in this group. You don't mind thinking like everybody else. You are afraid to think for yourself. You are afraid to look into the abyss and realize this is gone bad. Both sides agree that the whole thing in DC is fucked up, but everybody still clings to their side. And that is quite pathetic in my book. For very intelligent, educated, smart, knowledgeable people out there that claim so many things from your mouth, your actions prove that you live in fear, that you do not want to, you don't even want individual responsibility. You want somebody else to be responsible for all the bad things, and you just want to soak up all the good things. Well, I'm sorry. That ain't natural either. That's not in our nature either. Yes, we are a little lazy as a species, but that's here and there. That's not how we are. We're builders, we're growers, we're hunters, we're gatherers. But we are social, and we have never, ever been at a point like this in history. Sure, one group of people has always hated another, but it's never been this kind of divide. And the thing is, it's not even your divide. It's not even being caused by you. If these things out there, certain issues wasn't thrown out there and turned into rights or made illegal or legal or whatever the problem is with it, or a side, one leader says something about it and both sides are going to buck on it just because they love or hate the leader. This is why we're in a mess. We're not looking at the truth and what to do about it. We're looking at suggestions or opinions of others. And this has led us to ruin, because right now, socially, we are in ruin. And yes, pockets are getting better. People are waking up. They're realizing that without each other, there's not going to be anything, and that we are the problem itself, and that we're being manipulated by these corporations. That's a good thing. Is it enough? I don't think so. I don't think so. Otherwise, it wouldn't be about to collapse financially, economically. We wouldn't be facing such a great change in our money system. Our food, we would have food, we would have water, we would have health. But no, we have none of those because they make money off of this. They make money off of us. We are nothing to the people we are fussing about. We are fussing with each other like we're a billionaire, like we're a world leader, like we even have any place in what the New World Order has put out there to control us. You will never, as George Carlin said, you'll never be in that club. So why don't you just be proud of the club you're in? We the people, we have our own damn club, and we've always had it. But the fussing and the fighting keeps it from being the powerful state of being and state of mind that we should have. We should been done had this. We should have been done had unity. Things should have been dropped a long time ago. Things should have already healed up. And I'm only saying this in a tough love approach because it's true. It's true. We have reached areas in racism alone that if we hadn't stepped back on, we would probably have it quelled for the most part. It'll never go away. We have to realize that too. Some things will never go away. Some people will always think they're better. The people that control us, for instance. But it doesn't have to be us, and it doesn't have to affect our number one concern, which is maintaining the very planet we need to life to live that life. So anything like Cohen, Trump, Obama, Clinton, Hillary, any of that takes away or doesn't fit into the thought process of having life and sustaining that life is used to destroy that life. It's used to destroy our brotherhood. It's used to destroy our families. It's used to destroy our very own thought process. where we have things to fear because fear has been placed out there in front of us. You don't have to take the bait. You don't have to look at your brother. I'm learning this my own. Hey, look, I'm learning this on my own the hard way. There's some conversations that you don't need to have. Sometimes you have to lose to win. Sometimes you have to hide to be seen. And many, many times you have to be the bad guy to be the good guy. So think about that. What is the overall reason why you're even talking to other people? Because we need each other socially to have communities and to feed and to clothe. We all have a place in society and in our social being. But the truth of it is that's destroyed so others can live fat, full, and lazy on our labor, on our distrust of each other, on our fears, on our given hatred for another group of people. And to be honest, there is a group of people in this country that's not needed anymore. They don't need poor people anymore. And I'm not talking about poor black people or poor white people or poor any kind of people. I mean poor people, the class of people that struggle, that live in the poverty zone, that are homeless, or just, and still our brothers and sisters. They're not needed anymore, and they're going to start taking these people out right in front of you. And for some reason, I fear, and I will say this in just this way, I fear that you're going to cheer it on. I fear that the other group of people that is just getting by, or the other group of people that are well-to-do, and especially the group of people that are super rich, they're going to cheer it on. And we're going to actually cheer on the deaths and the genocide of our own brothers and sisters, because we already have done it through war, through mind manipulation of war. We've done it through mind manipulation of events all around us. And now that it's hitting home, a lot of people don't want to see it. And we have been conditioned not to see it. We have been conditioned to act like the people that we see on the TV, the people in D.C., our leadership, the parties that we chose. What we chose to be right and wrong ain't even what you chose to be right and wrong. You were given a list of things. You were given a list of things to choose from as being right or wrong, not the overall truth of right and wrong. Because the thing is, if you're living your truth and you have found some inner peace and you found the truth in things that you can't be free until you let another man be free, and that you can't love until you learn to love yourself, until you find those, you are going to walk around hating. And those of us that have found it, we're having a more difficult time, no matter what period in our life that we find it. I don't think anybody's born needing to know that. They find it out later on in life. But we walk around, we're the ones uncomfortable. We're the ones awkward. We're the ones that get pointed out as being self-righteous when we show the lie on both sides, when we show how both sides of issues are destroying our brotherhood and our unity. I will always be evolving. I will always be learning, trying to be the best I can be. And as I've done that in my life, I've come out here and tried to speak it with y'all. But no matter whatever I get in my life, it's not going to matter. I could find true inner peace and walk away and never care about anything. It's not going to stop the destruction of our health, our family, our very lives. And maybe it's gotten to a point where it's going to destroy our very planet that we need to live on. So we all need to stop and look at little things like this and just laugh at them and think, wow, that was a very poor attempt at fooling me. Because you are being fooled. You are being twisted. You are being pitted brother against brother and sister against sister, and it's got to stop. Somebody has to say something. And I'm not the only one that sees it, y'all. All the rest of us that do search for brotherhood see it, and we see why we're not obtaining this brotherhood. And it's because you're being played, and it's because you're acting just like these jackasses you see on TV, and you have been since the 90s. So let's act like us. You be you, and I'll be me, and we'll remember that that's cool because they're being honest. You are being the most honest person you can be, the most trustworthy and loyal and just valuable human being you can be by being you. So please be you all the time. Never fear it, and don't even worry about what other people think. You think I worry about what other people think about me? No, I'm still going to be me. Yeah, things hurt. Things can be said. Some things might be true even, but you're still being you. You're being the most honest person you can be by putting that out there every day, by living your truth, not by talking about what you believe, but by living what you believe. Go back to doing that and watch this other stuff disappear. I hope we get this act together, y'all. I don't really feel like we got a whole bunch more time to be putting into other people's struggles and fights, and we need to step out of this game and quit playing it. Both sides need to step away from the DC lie and turn our backs on the people that have been fleecing us and murdering us for the last couple hundred years. We need to stop it now. How we're going to, I don't know, but I can just tell you that I love you, and I would just only want to know you and the real you, and you would be accepted. Everybody is so worried about acceptance that you push other people away before they can even get close, and that's sad too. I love y'all. Peace, and don't live in fear. That fear, wow, I can't talk enough about fear, but don't live in fear. Peace.